Hey, it's Ellie Wilson from Rap Radar. And me and my partner, B.Dot Miller. And you know we got the premier website out there, rapradar.com. And now we're about to take over the podcast game. We're going to sit down with the culture's most important voices and give you that news and information, that opinion. The only opinion that matters, man, here at Rap Radar. Listen up. Here we go. Yeah, Rap Radar Podcast. Elliot Wilson.
I'm B-Dot.
B-Dot, what's up, baby?
Good to see you, man.
Capricorn boys, man. We just coming off some birthdays, man.
Feeling older. Getting flyer.
They said Miller 31, Reggie style?
I mean, you had to get it. If you didn't, then forget it.
Okay.
Miller, Brian Miller, you know, Reggie Miller, 31. I'm 31 years
You're
old.
heavy in the 30s crew right now, man.
Yeah, man.
Grown-ass man now.
I'm here. Turning 30 makes you feel like an adult. Like, what the fuck?
So you look down on me a little less now, you know?
But it's cool. I love getting older.
Elliot's 45. He's old as hell.
Listen, it's better than the alternative, okay?
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Side, like B.D. Siegel said, I'd rather be on the other side of the clock.
Exactly. I'm happy.
So you played it low for your birthday, or you
play low, you know, a little
Sunday? Your favorite day, man. Blessed day, Sunday.
Of course,
Sunday
you know,
blessings.
little brunch, you know, little razzle dazzle. Not
Everybody
too crazy.
shout you out on your birthday. Who want to shout out?
Oh boy, yeah, got a lot of text messages.
High level people reached out.
Yeah, that Sean Carter guy.
Oh,
man.
word.
I don't
Tell him run them bottles, man. You got some bottles, man. We some ace.
Yes, Jay-Z did send a very nice note. Right on time. I don't want to say what he said, but it was.
Did you cry?
I was like one of those. Damn. that Jay-Z guy's all right. You know,
He's a smart guy there. There you go.
Yeah. How about yourself? What you do for your birthday?
Same thing, man. Lay low. Me and the wife went to dinner. Nice place. Kept it low key.
You saw Gladys Knight, right?
Oh, that was the other night. Yeah, we went to see Gladys Knight and the OJs, man. It was a crazy show, man.
Oh, wow.
That was a great show.
Those are my favorite old school.
Oh, you would have loved it. Gladys Knight came out. She did like a whole hour, and then they took like an hour intermission, and then the OJs came out and killed it. Did an hour themselves, man. It was crazy.
They got hits.
Yo, they got hits.
I love
It's
those.
funny because it was like, how's Gladys Knight opening up? Because I thought it was gonna be like some like a Jay-Z show where they interspersed. Like I was like, Gladys Knight's opening for the OJs, but you don't feel that way. You almost feel like you see two great shows at one time. And Gladys has so many classics, but then you forget how many hits the OJs have.
Right,
like the OJs come out like, and your man, Papa Levert, man, he's a fool. He's like Bobby Brown if Bobby Brown could keep his shit together, because like he's the wild one. Like he's like 70s, like he's gyrating on stage. Like
nice.
He's the cocky one. Like he's the fool. Like it's just crazy, man. So look at the Rap Radar Podcast. We talk about the OJs, man. You love it, Pat. It's the diversity right here, man. So speaking of musicians, man, Terrace Martin, man, that was the last episode, man.
Classic.
Gems, right? Gems.
Classic.
We took him to school.
That was really our longest episode yet.
Yeah, we gotta start cutting these short. I think this one has to be an hour, man. It could get too long with these episodes, man.
You can't help it, man. It's so much information, too many gems, man. Terrace Martin, shout out to him. A lot of people responded to that one. I felt inspired my damn self just listening back on it.
Top five calligraphers?
Top 5.
Woo!
You starting the year off strong, man.
That's 32 episodes. Hard. Everyone has a new favorite all the time.
Oh, and I think we were remiss to mention Devi Dev in the interview.
Yes, I apologize to her in person. I was in Houston, and we kept mentioning it here, my dear. And before we get into that, Bevel, let's not forget Bevel.
Can't forget about Bevel. Pay the bills. Tristan Walker.
I'm going to talk about Devi Dev in 1 second, but first I want to acknowledge the great folks that are sponsoring us today, man.
Yes.
Bevel.
You can't go wrong
Tristan
with Bevel,
Walker.
Man. Yo, I actually got a tweet a couple days ago. Someone hit me up, Damu York. He said, yo, B-Dot, does Bevel really work for you? Like, clear your skin for weeks? I said, nah, doesn't clear your skin, but it definitely significantly reduces the razor bumps and all that nasty stuff that, you know, comes with shaving with those inferior products.
Yeah, man, it's designed from the ground up to give you a smooth, bump-free shave, man.
Yes.
Bevel's end-to-end shaving system includes a pre-shave oil, the Badger brush, the safety razor, the blaze, the shaving cream, and the cool restoring balm.
God
That's how
damn.
you get it, because it's a whole lifestyle, man. There's no overnight results, but what happens is with Bevel, you get the quality that's needed to maintain a better lifestyle, man. People of color, man, we suffer from razor bumps. That's why Bevel's so popular. It continues to grow. You see Tristan's making big moves with the Bevel trimmer. We're going to talk about that more down the road. You see Nas out there co-signing it, man.
That trimmer is sharp. It's like give you a Ginsu blade right there, man.
So Bevel's a lifestyle choice, man. You definitely want to, can't have those nasty razor bumps. We always said looking down there all crazy. Can't be a grown-ass man at 31 or 45
Hell no.
with razor bumps looking all sloppy.
Pack of nerds right underneath your chin. Nasty, man.
You got to believe in Bevel, man. If you believe in Bevel, make make sure you support, man. Get 20% off. Hit the code
Radar, RADAR.
Yeah, man. Tell Tristan Walker Bevel the Rap Radar sent you.
Yes, getbevel.com.
Yeah. But like we were saying, though, Here My Dear, that was a project that Devi Dev, our good friend Devi Dev, radio personality, former queen pen of the West Coast. Now she's in Houston. She put us up and used to hit us in the head all the time about who Terrence Martin was and how talented he was. And this is like, how many years ago? 4 or 5 years ago, something like that?
It's been a while, about, yeah.
Yeah. And they did a project called Here My Dear, which was about his ex-girlfriend, but everybody loves, like, Kendrick Lamar was on the record. Like, a lot of the guys who ended up making the most noise here in the West Coast, they got a great start in that project. Like, she was telling me that one kid was like, went up to her and said that the first time he heard Kendrick was on that project. So he asked her to, like, sign his To Pimp a Butterfly, like, thing. She was like, I can't sign Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly thing. He's like, you don't understand. Like, first time I heard Kendrick was off that Here My Dear project that you put together with Terrence. Like, please sign my thing. And she ended up signing it, but she felt kind of bashful. But shout out to Dev, though.
Yeah, it was that project was definitely a watershed moment. It broke a lot of the West Coast artists, specifically Kendrick Lamar. And, you know, she had a hand in that. And he got sued by Kim Kardashian, I think.
Oh, yeah, because of the, what was that? Because of the photo?
Because Kim was showing her titties on her top.
That's Mrs. West now, sir. But before she was Mrs. West.
Yeah, she was showing her breastises on the cover. And, you know, they took, you know how hip-hop is. We just take things and they had an artistic
We didn't even
approach.
ask about that. You see this hour and a half interview, man.
You know, and I think she sent a cease and desist. But,
see, we could have asked about that. That's what I thought was great about Terrence, too, is that he has crazy stories about, like, Kendrick and YG, but then he also has stories about, like, Jay Leno and Diane Warren. And he could have gave us Kim Kardashian stories, man. Just led a very diverse career. And I see that he's even, like, he never stops working, though. Like, I saw he was in D.C. this past weekend with Ninth Wonder working on stuff with Rhapsody. So shout out to Terrence, man. He gave it all in that interview. I thought it was amazing, man. Yeah. Definitely inspiring the musicians that are out there, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We need more people like that just, you know, are into the arts and the musicality of everything.
And good journalism, man. That's what we do.
Absolutely, man. I think our next guests are definitely part of the...
Woo! I'm not ready for this next episode. I don't know where this is going, man.
Dramatic.
It might be a dramatic one. It may not be, man. We're going to have 3 guests this time, man. Lil Uzi Vert.
Yes.
Young sensation from Philadelphia. Got a new project, Love Is Rage. Just signed a deal with Atlantic Records. And you know the guy that signed him? This guy, DJ Drama, man. This guy, this mixtape machine. Mr. Controversy himself.
Mr. Thanksgiving. He has a lot of aliases.
I don't know if we can talk about Meek and Drake, but you know his name was thrown out there. The drama. I don't know if we're gonna be able to ask some questions about that. We'll see. We're not promised anything, but definitely want to, you know, for you guys in the culture. Hopefully he'll address some things. We also got an unsung hero to the culture that really does interviews, Mr. Don Cannon.
Cannon.
I
love that
drop.
drop.
Lil Wayne Cannon. Cannon wanted.
Cannon steps back.
So we got Uzi, Drama, and Cannon. It's so Philadelphia, baby. All 3, man.
Hey, Cannon's like one of my favorite producers on the low. Like he's
Don Cannon.
Yeah, he's
Go Crazy, Circulate. Like what was this guy? He's only done some selective like
numbers on the board.
Don Cannon.
And actually my favorite Young Jeezy record too, Mr. 17.5.
Oh yeah, too. Yeah. I love Circulate too off the recession. But so many amazing productions. And then we found out that it was around the anniversary of like 9 years ago, something like 9 years ago, that they were rated, man. The whole turning point in the mixtape market, man. We have like Envy up here, and he talks about how many in the golden days, how much these DJs made off mixtapes, and Drama got arrested, and that changed the mixtape game forever, man. Back then, him and Don Cannon, I saw they put the photo up. They was in shackles, man.
That was on my birthday. I remember getting that phone call. I was like, what the hell? What's going on?
We thought it was over, man. That guy overcame it, continues to grow, does great projects. Always shakes things up in hip hop, man. That guy DJ Drama, man. He's a light skinned terror right there, man. Nah, but also him and Cannon keep the eyes on Young Town. Like I said, Lil Uzi Vert is making a lot of noise out there. Love Is Rage is his new project. If you haven't picked it up, pick it up. So yeah, all 3 of them made sense, man. You know, we ain't trying to just book everybody that's on a press run, man. We like to put things together, man. We like to curate for the culture, baby.
It's science, all about the culture, right?
Keep the culture at the forefront, man. So make sure you stay tuned, man. We got Lil Uzi Vert, DJ Drama, and Don Cannon. Rap Radar Podcast.
Yeah.
Introducing Play.it, a podcast network like no other. From award-winning news programming and #1 sports brands to entertainment and business leaders, Play.it is delivering storytelling at its best.
We're going to be having conversations with newsmakers and culture shapers.
I will be talking mostly about fashion and how I've been marketing all my life.
Tech, culture, and entrepreneurship.
Everything in the world of sports entertainment and wrestling and beyond.
Hear what you've been missing at Play.it.
Hey, it's Ellie Wilson from Rap Radar. And me and my partner, B.Dot Miller, man. With the only opinion that matters, man, here at Rap Radar. Yeah, B.Dot, this episode's also sponsored by our good friends at
Rap Chat.
Rap Chat!
Yeah.
The app that lets you record raps over beats and share them with your friends on social media.
Yeah, man.
Such a simple concept, but really taking off, man. This app is blowing up heavy out there, man.
I downloaded it while we were on our last episode, and I'm still trying to get a hang of this. I can't.
You can't pick the right beats that you gonna rhyme on?
I can't rap. I couldn't rap I can't rap a sandwich, okay?
You're friends with Jay-Z. Can't give you some tips?
Well, we all
Why
know.
don't you pick like a slow beat? Do they have like some 80 mile per hour BPM beats on there?
They have
on the Rap Chat app?
They have hundreds of beats to choose from. Hundreds, literally.
He's doing the place to be, as you can see. Like, get one of those. Like,
I'm on a train trying to rap like an idiot, but, you know, thanks to Rap Chat, I'm going to try, man.
Like we said, man, whether you're an upcoming rapper just looking for to have some fun with your friends, man, Rap Chat, man, it makes you want to rap. That's the thing. If you download that, it's so much fun, so accessible. The beats are there for you. You know, rapping is fun, man. Lyrics, poetry, man.
And 500,000 others already downloaded it too, man. 500,000, 500,000 people already on Rap Chat. Why aren't you?
But now they got to get the cool people, man. The people that listen to the Rap Radar podcast.
Of course.
I love it. It sounds beautiful together, man. Rap Chat, Rap Radar podcast.
And if you download it, you know what happens, Ellie? It's free. My favorite F word.
It's not fuck, your favorite F word?
Nah, free. It's on the App Store.
It's fucking free, B.Dot?
It's free on the iTunes App Store, but unfortunately on Android versions. Coming soon.
Real soon. I spoke to them, man. Real soon.
We're gonna hook you up, but right now.
But everybody got that iPhone, man. Go on the App
iPhone.
Store right now, man. Download for free the Rap Chat app. So much fun for you and the homies, for friends. Let everybody know about this movement, man. It's the easiest way for artists to test their skills. Beats are so accessible. They got some good beats up there.
Yes.
Make sure you support Rap Chat. Let them know Rap Radar sent you.
Yeah.
Let's go, Rap Radar podcast. I see a lot of Philadelphia right here, baby.
Yes,
A lot of Philly, man.
Yeah.
Lil Uzi Vert up in here.
Hey, what up?
DJ Drama.
Yes,
Don Cannon.
What's up with it?
Woo!
I wish we had like the soundboard. We could just play y'all drops during this whole interview.
The Cannon.
I wish we had y'all voices in our sound drops that we could play and laugh.
Yo, you can have to laugh, man.
During our show.
I'll sponsor it, man. But Uzi, I saw you guys last night, man. The Yams tribute was crazy.
Man, it was crazy. Like, real
They didn't want to let you in the building, right?
Hell no, man.
What happened, man?
12,
What happened, young gangster?
12 cops.
12 cops?
Yeah,
Move close to the mic, my G. I'm
the
sorry.
cops.
Cops try to fuck with Lil Uzi?
Yeah, like
Why?
they wouldn't let us in. Talking about it was too many people, but I'm on the bill. Like, how you ain't gonna let me in?
And you know Yams in real life.
Yeah,
Yams
real
is your
life,
guy,
yeah.
right? Talk about the relationship.
Yo, you know, me and Yams never met in person. We would only talk on the phone. He like the first person I met from ASAP. I didn't know none of them.
Yeah.
He reached out to me on Twitter and was real early. Like about the same time Don Cannon reached out to me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, about the same time, like the same week. And he was like, he really messed with my music and stuff. We just kept in touch and we just would talk regularly.
Wow.
And he was telling me about LA before I ever been to LA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's really crazy out there, like, so.
Yeah, I saw you tweeted that day. You said, like, this is the first year where you've really traveled
like that.
out of Philly, right?
Yeah, I never been nowhere before. Yeah. For real.
You seem to love it, though. I see you on social. You seem to love it, though.
All the time, everywhere I go, yeah.
So was it hard to make us record like Lamborghini Dream then, in the wake of...
It wasn't really hard. Like the record, see, my songs, they usually I don't have a name for them or none of that. It usually come after. But just shout out to Young Thug. Me and Thug just...
You got great chemistry.
Yeah, we just vibed out on that one. And he thought the name was perfect too. Like, it just made sense.
Okay.
Just how melodic and dark it was.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And the new project, Love Is Rage, so you feel like that's your best work, right?
Yes.
And just got a little deal with Atlantic Records. You gentlemen are responsible for that over here. What's it like to sign Lil Uzi? Like, talk about how did you guys get involved with his career? Like, Don, you reached out first?
Yeah, actually, I was in Atlantic City and they was playing the song Uzi on the radio back to back, and it happened to be one of our homies, Diamond Cuts, and I called her like, yo, who's this kid you keep playing back and forth? She's like, Uzi. It's like, I'm supposed to fly out from Atlantic City back to Atlanta, but I'm coming back to Philly to meet him. So I got on the phone with them, tough on them. I'm like, I'm gonna show up, studio. So that next day we went to Philly, and I showed up at the studio, just wanted to see how he worked, meet him, and kind of like and vibe and see what he was like. Yeah. And then once I found out, I played close to horoscopes. That he was a Leo and everything. I was like, okay, I'm already know this kid personality. So I heard some joints, and then I just ran around. I just watched him work, and I was like, oh, this kid got it. So I went back home and told them like, yo, we gotta get with this kid ASAP. He's dope.
What like, drama?
Well, I mean, myself and Cannon and Lake and we've had a lot of conversations just over time because we watched a lot of artists come and we've been there for at the beginning of a lot of
when they fall off
when their career we've seen that point.
Seen them go down too.
We've seen going down every day. Every day.
We've seen that point too. So it was just like we basically was at the point like I guess one of our goals for 2014 or at that time was like our goal right at this point is for artists for us to really take that side of the game and step beyond the mixtapes and the things that we were doing and like we want to bring something forward for the culture. So we started Generation Now, and I remember still being in the radio room at Mean Street Studios and Cannon coming in like, yo, this kid Lil Uzi, and I was like, run it, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And,
it was crazy because it happened to be from Philly.
Right.
And that was one of our dreams, even coming up, is just to actually grab a cat from Philly and put him on with just the right person, you know what I'm saying?
What was it like coming up in Philly, man, for your experience?
It was,
17th and Ridge.
Yeah, Francisville, man, for real.
What you know about that?
I don't know. I be hating to say like it's like real tough growing up in Philly because it's normal to me. But when other people come there, they say it's tough.
They're like, oh.
But I'm gonna tell you what though, like growing up in Philly definitely set me up for life. Like everywhere else I go, it just seemed easier. Right. Everywhere. Just being from Philly make everything else way easier.
Did you always want to stand out? Like you got green hair now?
Yeah, I always did my own thing, even before because I only started rapping in high school, and I'm 21. Like so, before I even like was rapping or anything, I always was into like just looking different or whatever.
But how does like a person from North Philly, uptown? You're like a big Marilyn Manson fan. How does a guy from how do you get into that?
Just being all right. So I went to like a lot of schools, and going to a lot of schools, like you meet different people and stuff. And I went to when I was younger. I tell you right now, when I was younger, I went to a school called Albert M. Greenfield, and it was a good school. Like I went there. Yeah, I went to Greenfield. What was that? 22nd and Chestnut? Yeah, something like that. I went to Greenfield, and I had a friend back then named Elijah, and actually he really put me on like Marilyn Manson, and put me on Fall Out Boys, and put me on My Chemical Romance and Paramore and all that. Yeah. And ever since then, that was when I was young, and skateboarding and stuff. And ever since then, like I just ran with it. And then me being from where I'm from, just the trap influences and just street stuff. So just mix that together, and it's flawless.
It's funny you say that because all right, you're 21, so I'm doing the math in my mind. And so like during Beanie Siegel State Property Rise, that's kind of like you came up off.
And I was listening to that too. Right. That's the thing. I had both sides. And
State Property jacket.
Yo, listen, you ready? You ready? I was too small. I couldn't get one. I'm dead serious. I'm gonna get. I want to get a jean jacket now. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna get an old State Property.
Some calls, man.
Like a small joint. Now they started at 2X. Remember?
I was so my cousin had one. My dad had it. I couldn't get one though. I think didn't they used to have Skellies?
Yeah,
I had the Skelly. I had the Skelly. I remember I had the Skelly, and I thought I was killing it. I had the Skelly with my Warwich, and I think I had some G-Unit boots. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Dead ass though. I'm not even gonna lie.
Like Siegel should sound with the unit.
Like for real, like yeah.
But my point to saying is that like your sound obviously isn't like a traditional Philly sound. I remember on the record 53 you talk about like you're a nigga from the North, but you sound like the South.
Yeah, it's because when I was younger, like my grandma brought me my only CDs that I really had was like Yin Yang Twins, and I had like Who's Mike Jones.
Yeah,
I had that, so I was listening to that, and I was like, I would sing Mike Jones songs like they was mine. Like when I was younger, like I would act like they was mine. Like
you tried to call the number.
Actually, you ready? And I hope Mike Jones is listening. I used to call that number every day, and you only really could call that number off. Listen, I'm about to tell you, you only really can call it off of Nextel phones. Wow. So I had a Boost Mobile, and that was the promotion. Like he had this stuff with Boost Mobile, and like you could call it, and I would call it every day, waste all my minutes, and my mom would be mad. And one time, hey, I would call it all the time, like all the time. Like I think every time I would go to the corner store and get like 15 minutes from my phone, I would just keep calling this number.
So before you caught Cannon's attention, what was your first breakthrough that you felt like, okay, I can rap? Like you said, you got a late start. Like when did you feel like I can rap and people are noticing me and like I feel like this could be something?
SoundCloud, like back then, getting like at first I was getting like 15 views. Like when you first put your, then I was getting like 150, and I'm like that was like crazy to me. Then 3,000 was crazy to me, but I think Cannon really was the real first breakthrough.
Yeah.
I think it was, and then after that, stuff just started coming. Like,
so when you put Love Is Raised together, were you guys already still in place? Like, did you guys A&R and executive produce that album, project?
Cannon was there helping me the whole time. Drama was there. We were picking the music and stuff. Like that's a little bit. That's a little bit later. Like so, I was already in Atlanta when I made Love.
The majority of that was at Main Street. Right?
Yeah, majority, all of it. Yeah. I made the.
You like that studio?
I
right
made
there.
the. You told me you like that studio. Yeah, I made. I'm trying to think. Yep, I made the whole Love Is Rage at Main Street, the whole from top to bottom, the whole thing in the B room, the whole thing.
On that song 53, I think about you say to have that line. You saw about like the OGs won't play. You won't play your songs to keep your name out your mouth.
Yeah. Like they would not play my songs at first. Like at first they wouldn't play my songs on like Power 99 and stuff. They would not play my songs and DJ Diamond Cuts was because like I had ties with her. Like that was my manager's old fiance. I mean fiance. I said my old house. Oh my god, that's my manager's fiance though. But like
his wife now.
Wife, yeah, I'm tripping. They had a beautiful wedding in Disney World. They had all like for real. Like, they did like, and it's crazy. But yeah, I couldn't like. Cosmic Kev, he wouldn't play me. He would not play me at all. Yeah. And at first, he was saying like, I sound like I was too much from somewhere else. It wasn't original. It wasn't Philly. So he didn't feel like it should get played. But Diamond was playing me every night. Yeah. So after a while, the buzz started getting bigger. Then he gave in and he was playing me. But we'll see.
But with that resistance, what kept you going? Was it because of Diamond support, or because most people would probably
Diamond gave me a lot of support. Yeah, she gave me a lot of support. Definitely did. She did. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Definitely did.
How did I remember seeing you also so much of your live performance also is key too. Like I remember seeing you with Santos and the Drama, you guys. Yes. And then when you did that What You Want, the Carnage record, like to see energy on that, like talk about your live show and how important that is to
my live show is the most important thing. Like even more important than me just putting out a song, or more important than me putting out a visual, because you might see me on the visual, but at that performance I'm near. Like I'm there. So when they see me there and I'm really doing what I'm saying, or being the way that they see me on the internet or all that, like that's
so
really
it's just
important.
high energy. That's
everything's
the key?
Just straight up energy. Like no calm. I'm jumping in the crowd with everything on. It don't even matter.
So even if it's like sometimes new artists, you'll have like a small crowd, you have a couple hundred people.
It don't matter.
Like
I'm turning up. I'm turning up.
We threw them straight to the Wolves too last summer when we went to the Boys Summer Tour. Yeah. So we went from he went from small venues to opening up to Fall Out Boy and Wiz Khalifa in front of 15,000.
And it was too much. I'm not even gonna lie.
For 2 months.
I'm like, why am I here? They don't want to see me. Like, what am I here for? And actually, like, when I came out and I performed What You Want, I would look in the crowd, and everywhere I would be, even if it wasn't the whole crowd or even if it wasn't the half, it would be over 20 people every time that know it, and people, and just from
20,
the beat.
20 is an understatement.
Yeah.
20,
bro, it was
I'm just saying.
At first, bro.
20 is an understatement.
No, bro. Listen,
we were 15,000. It was more than 20.
No, bro. I'm gonna tell you, I was out there looking, because at first I was looking. Trust me.
But how did that record come together? Because I feel like that's your record. Like
it was
Carnage, all these people.
It was my record.
It's Susie's record. It's your hook.
You know how DJs do.
Yeah, it was my record.
What was your record?
It was a record that I put on. Remember I said SoundCloud?
SoundCloud, yeah.
I put it on SoundCloud a year ago, maybe a year and some change now. But as soon as I put it out, DJ Carnage, he had hit me up, and honestly, I really didn't know who he was. Like I don't
know who is he.
I'm in North Philly. You heard? I'm in North Philly. Like I ain't know, but like I knew his songs. Like I knew I clicked a song that he had made. He had made a beat for, I believe, ASAP Ant before. and I was familiar with it, and he's like, and I saw the following and stuff, and it just made sense. Like he was vibing with me. It didn't sound too much like he just wanted the record.
Let's take advantage of
that. Yeah, we were like we became cool, and I'm like, you know what? Like, what do I got to lose? Like, it was going, like, if anything, like, you know, I'm in my grandma's house down North Philly, like, just like, dang, like, hey, what's up? Let's just put it out. And he's like, do you know who you want on there? And the original song wasn't even called "What Do You Want." It was called "Thugger Voice." That was.
So is that still on your SoundCloud? Or you got rid of it?
It's on private. It's still on my SoundCloud. It's still on there.
What is your password, my brother? I need that.
That's interesting because you got the second verse on it. That's crazy too.
A second verse, and the second verse is it was just me in there, just because I be just freestyling on all my songs, honestly. But like it was just me just going.
So how did it become Ferg and Rich the Kid?
So the song was called Thugger Voice because of the high pitched voice that I used on the song. It was more like it was like Young Thug. Like that was I always.
And you hadn't even met him at that time.
I knew about Young Thug for a long time.
Yeah,
I knew about Thug for a long time. So like Carnage was like, well, I can't get the Thug because he was like, yeah, he's straight up like, he like,
I still can't get the Thug.
He like, who you? He like, I can now. Like, he like, yeah, who do you want? Who do you want on here? I'm like, it's called Thugger Voice, so of course Thug. That's it. Like, I don't want nobody else.
Carnage.
Like, I don't want nobody else. And then probably like a week went by, and he's like, somebody else. Like straight up, like I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like Ferg, because I always like Ferg, like, and he got that done.
Energy to work.
He got the Ferg done, and then he put Rich the Kid on there.
Yeah.
And then after that, I started following Rich the Kid, and we became cool. Like we real cool friends and all that. Yeah, but like that's how it came together. Then he put it out, and I guess just it got big, man.
I want to talk about, like, you mentioned your live show. I think it's ironic because, you know, your live show was, you know, really animated, you know, doing your thing. But then you talk about you, like, suffer from depression, like, with Xanax and stuff like that. Like, so is a live show, like, your therapy or? Not
really. I just don't think about it. Like, when I'm up there, like, I see the fans. I'm like, dog, I'm like, all these people out here, like, you know, that's a uplifter. Like, all the people out here, you like, yeah, like, they like you. Like what am I like? It put in that mind like, wait a minute, now I sound like a weirdo. Like what am I over here talking about I'm depressed for? What am I sad for? What am I down for? Yeah. But then once I leave that venue, right back.
So what do you think it is? Why is it that?
I don't know. Like I'm a real, like, I don't want to say emotional, but like if I like something or like people or some, I put a lot, like I don't do too much, and I really don't be around a lot of people. So if I'm into something or I'm into someone or I'm into, like,
you're all in.
I'm all in. So if I'm all in and it doesn't work in my favor, of course, like cause I'm real, like I'm passionate about everything I do, cause everything I do is real. Number one. So like it's like it just is very frustrating, and that's life, period. Like life is just frustrating, period. Life isn't made to be all sweet, because if it was, we all would be billionaires.
I see that. Like
you guys have dealt with a lot of artists. I just want to get their take on what what makes Uzi different,
you know,
distinctive.
It's interesting because I was just about to say that. Like
he never dealt with a rock star. Never.
This isn't the traditional trap rapper of your era.
What's interesting to me is that, like, you know, I mean, as much as I've seen it, as much as I've done, you know, I come in and I may have my opinion or so forth on what Uzi's projects and everything, and we've disagreed on various things at times. You know what I'm saying?
look at Uzi's face.
And to the point where it's like, yo, dog,
he be mad at me every day.
Dog, you know how long I've been here?
Like I'm DJ Drama.
Like,
I'm DJ the fuck Drama.
But you know, I mean, and with that being said, like there's a moment in time where I stepped back and I was like, you know, even Allen Iverson crossed up Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You know
crossed the shit out of him.
You know,
so didn't foul Larry Brown's play on that too.
I mean, Michael Jordan still has 6 rings, by the way. But with that being said, you know, it was just, for me, it was like, you know what, like to have this young energy and to have this youthfulness and somebody that has a vision, like I respect that, because I know what that feels like. So, you know, even if it's something that at the time I might not be all 104, I was like, you know what, let Uzi do how Uzi sees his vision. And, you know, and for example, Love Is Rage is one of them, which, you know, he has abundance of songs, and there were certain songs that per se I may have wanted on the tape that didn't go on the tape, and Uzi was like, "Yo, drop, trust me, this is the vision." And I was like, and you know, I mean,
it wasn't that easy. He is cursing me out for like, it's like making me like, I'm like, man, I know what they want to hear. Like, I already know. Like, I'm not. See, honestly, what I was trying to do is with that tape.
Yep.
It's like I'm not really trying to feed the new people. The new people gonna come. I'm trying to feed the people that's already messing with me. Like, it's just, I know what they want to hear. I know what the sound
You're building
is.
your core.
Yeah, then I'm like, I'm going back and forth with him because, you know, like, Drama know, like, he been here and he's like 15 years. I've been here 15 years. I'm like, all right. Like, and we just go back and forth, but we figured it out.
I feel like Cannon comes with the more zen, like, peaceful thing.
Cannon,
right?
this is what Cannon do. This is what Cannon.
He definitely balances that out.
Because Drum is straight up like, he won't hold his tongue. Like, it's just straight up like, you gonna do what I'm gonna say. And I'm like, no. And we just go back and forth. But we wind up agreeing. We have to. Because if we don't agree, nothing will come out. We gotta agree. Like, gotta be a mutual agreement. You feel me? But with Cannon will be like I feel what you saying, and I'm with you 100%. And he'll break both sides down. Like, he'll be like, listen, the reason Drama telling you this because such and such, this or this amount or this, and I'm like, but I don't care. And he like, cool. All right. All he can do is explain it to me. He like, all right, I'm rocking with you again.
I just, you know, for one, you know, with the younger kids, man, you just always gotta follow their energy because it's carefree, it's risky. You know, as you get older, artists, you learn more. You start kind of trying to duck some certain bullets.
Yeah,
and,
you can't do
you know,
the
certain
same thing.
So you know, even with him and his core, I gotta somewhat listen to him because you know we've been through that before, and we was young, we was rebellious, carefree, just like that. We just did so much stuff. So you know, growing older, I forgot what it was to be a younger guy. So then I was like, you know what? Let me just go and run with it. I'm just gonna explain to him what's wrong and what's right. And if he says, "Yo, I know what I'm doing," you gotta go out there.
But Drum, you've worked with like, you know, younger artists as well. Like, I think of the first people that come to my mind, Willie the Kid, you know, LAD.
I remember that. Yeah.
You know, LAD, like those, I don't, you know, the status with Willie, but you know, LAD, you had that falling out. So what makes this so different? Like, do you like take the regrets or do you the lessons learned from that experience and apply it now?
Not really. I mean, it was a totally different situation. I can't. It's not even something I can compare. That, you know, that situation was what it was at that time, and you know, this for us is just it's 2016. You know what I'm saying? And we went into this and starting a company called Generation Now. You know, so when the concept of the label came about and Uzi really being that person to launch it, there was no thoughts of what we had done in the past, from, you know, the good aspects or the bad aspects. And you know, I mean, in hip hop, like, there's been various fallouts and makeups and breakups and so forth. And you know what I'm saying? And
even that Jeezy guy, hip hop is wrestling, right?
I mean, you know, even from that, like, me and Jeezy went through, you know, some tough times, and I consider him one of my closest friends in the rap game. I mean, I'm sitting next to this guy. You know, we didn't talk for a year and a half, you know, over some things. So, yeah, I don't look at the situations and compare them, but one thing about it.
It was longer than a year and a half.
What was your falling out? What was the falling out about?
I mean, you know, we best friends. Like, so, like, people fall out. You know, we had a little situation with the raid. You know, this 9 years yesterday.
Anniversary of the raid, man. For people that don't know, can you guys put it in perspective?
Yeah, let me know.
I let Martin Luther King speak first. You know, me, I go crazy.
Morocco drama.
Drama's still mad. Drama's still mad.
I like I said in my post,
racketeering, motherfucker.
I thanked them, man. They put us in the history books faster than we was going. I mean, long story short, you know, we got raided for like bootleg and racketeering under the RICO law, and the RICO law is like what they lock up like Al Capone for. You know what I'm saying? So they came to our studios.
What?
Well, yeah, like the RICO. We got the crime boss law, dog.
Crime boss.
Yo,
you see that shot? The shot where you guys are kicked up. You look like you're shackled, like you're slaves. Like, you look like you're in jail, like
a slave.
That shit was crazy.
That don't even look like America. That looks like the 30s and shit.
They brought the M16s to our head. I remember shot my man DJ Infamous. He had just moved his equipment into the studio that first day. He was working on his first mixtape.
Wow.
And you know, the helicopters was hovering over. Lake Show was on his way with Freeway. They was like, yo, don't go to the studio.
Oh, Free was there.
Free was in the city. They were on their way.
Wow.
They were on their way.
Damn.
Mason happened to be there the night before. Matter of fact, I remember because it was the time right during that time we was doing the New York Times Magazine was doing a article on us and what have you. So they had been following us around. So yeah, they hit us.
What was it about, like the taxes and stuff?
What? No, it was just to make a long story
So I
short.
ain't never hear no stuff like
I mean,
this.
basically,
talk to Uzi, man.
the law.
I'm on the other side. I don't know about no.
Even before you go through that, people don't know the history of Atlanta and its crimes.
Okay.
And one of the top crimes is bootlegging.
Right.
You know, as far as not only music but Air Force Ones, pocketbooks, and stuff
on
like
the
that.
bags and everything.
And then second is fraud, and then third would be prostitution and those spas and stuff. So in our when they went to go talk to a certain person and ask where they got a CD from, it was our mixtape, but it just happened to be in a bootleg section with a bunch of albums.
Somebody else got caught up, and they was like, nah, these are good. We get these from DJ Drama and Don Cannon. These CDs are straight. And so then those people went and did a little bit of research, and they found GangsterGirls.com, and they started to see all the CDs. And I can look back on this and say it now. Honestly, what attracted them to have that situation was not necessarily the Yo Gottis and the Young Jeezys. It was the mixtapes that had like Michael Jackson and Beyonce and things of that nature. So
even if it was a blend or anything,
exactly,
right?
They're looking at it, and you got to really think like this was a period in time in hip hop or excuse me in music where it was a lot of transitioning going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the game was going digital.
It was going digital, and mixtapes were I always looked at it like it was a real breakdown in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the time I was signed to Atlantic Records as an artist. I remember the conversations. I mean, when you were over at Double XL, it'd be part of marketing schemes for artists was like, okay, we got to get the cover of Double XL. You got to do a Gangsta Grill. So we were part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like I remember even during that situation, somebody had told me like, a memo had gone out through various companies like, yo, if they ask you about the Drama and Cannon raid, don't speak on it because there was still that underlying, the mixtape thing was
promotional use only.
Exactly. So it was a little unclear, So here's these guys that sitting in the corporate side or the legal side that don't understand what. How we were helping making so many people millions of dollars and making these stars at the time.
And there was a lot of guys in the East that were just making a lot of money. You were making original records with a lot of artists and stuff.
Absolutely.
But a lot of guys in the East were just making mixes and still making thousands of dollars a month.
And not even necessarily like everything we did. We did directly with the artists at the times. But I mean, and looking
took the fall.
Looking back on it, I remember Billboard magazine. I had 4 or 5 months before that they came to me about an opportunity. I was like, well, how about a cover? Can I get a cover of Billboard?
Sean was never been afraid to ask for what he wants.
It was like a cover, Billboard. Nah, we don't put DJs on a cover. And then after that, they were like, hey, so if you give us the exclusive story, we'll give you a cover. So
and what happened?
Shout out my man Sydney too, man.
That cover.
Yeah, we got the cover. Yep. But during that time, I think that that also caused some that's where some tension between me and Cannon has started based upon that raid.
Y'all should have just fought.
We did in a lot of different ways.
Nah, I'm talking about with y'all fists.
Nah, that wasn't gonna happen.
Man,
how do you guys know each other? I know you both from Philly. We went to Clark?
We went to CAU together.
That's my old head.
So y'all from the same.
We're all from Philly. Me, Sense, and Cannon. Me and Sense first came to Atlanta to go to school in the mid '90s, and I met Sense like my first day at school. We stayed in Brawley Hall together. And when he was on, I was on the second floor. He was on the third floor, and we had like a DJ battle. Yeah. And we was cool. We had been cool ever since. So we were doing all the campus parties and splitting $150.
I was there.
But why? But why go to Clark? Was it because Atlanta wasn't popping at the time?
I got a scholarship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I always wanted to go to NYU. I always wanted to go to film school. Like I always knew I was like, yo, after I leave Philly, I'm coming to New York. And like I didn't want to go to Temple, because going to Temple is like going to like 13th grade. 13th grade. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you at home. Yeah, if you go to Temple, you're like you're still there. So, and I had actually, matter of fact, I had came down to Atlanta. 2 years prior, and with my father, we took a drive down. He had a convention to go to, and I'll never forget it because that was when Outkast's first album came out. So I came to Atlanta. A friend of mine had actually been going to Clark at the time, and I was just like, you could feel the energy. Like it's just this energy in Atlanta. When it's just so many young people of color from so many different places, and like I remember when I first got there, and like you would walk by somebody in the street and they'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'd be like, "Whoa!" Like, you're not like coming from Philly. Like, you know, if you see, if you don't know a nigga, you don't speak to him. Like, so it was just that, and that was how I wound up coming to the city, and it was right at the time. I mean, I was on campus when Pac was murdered. I was in school when Biggie got killed. So right around this time was when things were starting to really. The South was getting a lot of attention. I mean, clearly, Freaknik brought a lot of people there, but after that, Outkast and Goody Mob and even P. I have to give P a lot of credit, for that time, for putting a lot of a light on the South and everything. And I just remember from being in school, I mean, I was a East Coast like to the core, like
Backpack,
Dr. Octagon, Tribe Called Quest, Boot Camp Click, But when you come to Atlanta and like you got. DC want to hear go-go, California wants to hear West Coast, like Caribbean people want to hear reggae, so it really trained me to be kind of like a more worldly as a DJ. Cannon chose to come to Clark.
I had no choice. I was dumb as hell in school. You know what I'm saying? All I wanted to do was spin records. So my mom was like, "Man, this is the only place you're accepted. You going?" Wow. I'm gone. Shit. And I knew about the the music that was getting ready to come out of there too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I got down there, a couple people just moving around. It was like, yo. And I had family down there. I had a couple cousins. One went to Spelman, one went to Morehouse. She was like, just go down there. You'll be straight. Wow. She wanted to get me out of Philly anyway because she was like, man, it's nothing but trouble. You can go to Temple, Penn State, but you got to come home. When I go home every day, I think about that. She always fought for me to stay out of trouble.
Wow. Yeah. So y'all like when did the DJing start? You guys threw parties together? Was like affiliates?
I had been DJing since like high school. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like the roots was that the first group person people that showed me that you could really do this hip hop shit. Like I remember, Questlove on South Street playing video games. Like Black Thought had, and had came to my basement at my mother's crib and freestyled on my tapes. And I was at the Trocadero when they had their signing party. So I was like, wow, like these guys are really on TV. Like I saw these guys do it. Like this shit's really possible. Yeah. So from that,
way before Fallon.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, from that was my first experience with like really seeing somebody actually get on, So going to Atlanta, I mean, it was just like, yeah, we were the DJ. Like when it came to the AUC, we were the local guys. Like we did the Spelman parties and the Morehouse parties and the CAU parties, and we DJ'd in the cafeterias. And I had, I was making my mixtapes at the time and just kind of hustling them myself. And I remember Cannon came a year after me, and people had I guess had already told him like, yo, DJ Drama goes here and everything. So it took us a minute. I remember like I had this friend named Kyle, and Kyle kind of was like, oh yeah, I knew Kenny. He kind of hated on it at the time. I was like, okay. And Cannon kept trying to be like, yo, I make beats. And he finally gave me a beat tape. I was like, oh, this nigga's hot.
I was making beats even back then.
Yeah, I've been making beats since I was 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
He can't believe your name is Don Cannon. He's like,
yeah, man.
I was like, his name is really Don Cannon?
Really Don Cannon.
And it took them to change it to Don Cannon. Because I was Donnie Brasco for a long time until I figured out I was a cop. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I went left field. I hated my original name until.
So with the radio,
what was your original name?
Good question.
Don Cannon was my original name, but I hated it when people called me. They used to be like Cannon. They used to be like Cannon. I used to be like, what? Get that out of here.
Which was a Philly term.
Yeah, but Brasco was like, Okay, that got a ringer to it.
That's whack.
Even some of my plaques. Hey yo, some of my plaques in my crib.
Yeah, I be at the crib. I be at his crib and I look at his Ludacris plaque. It say Donnie Brasco. I said, what is this?
Mad rap names. But with the Ray, you said you guys the tension was kind of just pointing fingers at each other, like it's your fault type of thing.
Well, it was my fault probably.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It wasn't that. I think right before everything started going down, I think we still had a difference in opinions of who was running with our team. Yeah. And I was like, yo, every team has got that one person that we brought in just to help, and then it didn't go well. So then we
that's why Uzi don't fuck with anybody.
Yeah. So we started going back and forth because he was, Drama's got a strong opinion. So
this guy
he went he was going left and I was like kind of going right, but then I think just the forces of God was just making it, everything was I look at the raid and everything that happened as a thing of like, yo, enough is enough. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it happens like that just to bring it back. And I felt like that was the start of it. But
and Cannon was doing Jeezy mixtapes and shit.
Yeah, because at that time, like they was doing a lot of music, but me and Jeezy always just would talk on another level, just different stuff, like even with music, because we created it so much. So even with him, like when we went back to reconcile the problems and stuff, it was really nothing we had to talk about. I remember we went to Jersey Mike's when Jersey Mike's just came out. It's like, yo, let's go get a sandwich. You just sat there. It was like, so what we about to talk about? Like, then we just started talking about nothing that had nothing to do with why we wasn't cool.
I mean, I still look back on it like, in reality, and I've said this all the time, like when I first started DJing, like my goal was just to get my name on a flyer, like being in Philly. Like I was like, man, I just want to go up the Broaden area and see my name on a flyer. You know what I'm saying? So like when we created what we created and became like, darlings of the industry and on the cover of magazines and
Drama the darling,
like really like being those guys. I remember I remember that time, and I remember thinking like, damn, okay, like we got here, like how do we stay here? But even from that, like, one of Cannon's first beats out the gate had Jay-Z on it. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
You know what I mean? And I'm, in my time with T.I., like being on the road and just the things we were accomplishing, and even from the mixtape Ray, like, where my life was at that time, like I never in my wildest dreams imagined it would get there. So, we were doing this shit out of fun. Like we were just, we was kids who loved hip hop, who, hoped that, we could get some attention. So when shit started to get real and, money started to get involved, and then like you said, like differences of opinions, like it just, it can cause friction within friendships and relationships that, what I'm saying?
But time heals all.
Yeah, it hinders it, what I mean?
During that, did they give you guys like a high bail and stuff like that too?
What was it?
It was no bail at first.
Oh, it was no bail.
No bail. When that picture you saw, that was our faces saying there was no bail.
Wow.
And then,
so that's why I was like, "Oh shit, it's real."
Then what was it, like $250 or something?
Yeah, no, it was higher. It was $1 million because we paid $100,000 to get out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the final thing? What ended up happening? They didn't charge anything. Like how did you guys get acquitted?
I remember this too. I remember even then when we went to go see our lawyer. I went to go see Ed Garland because this was right around the time Tip had was dealing with his stuff, and he was like, go see Ed Garland. So we went to go see Ed Garland, and the lawyers even told us like, yo, you guys should probably get separate lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Just, because at the end of the
Puffy
day,
and Shine.
It's like, I mean, in reality, that's just legally, that's how they did it. Like, that's how they advised us, and the law that they basically everything boiled down to was a law called the True Name Law. When it comes to music and physical copies, you have to have an address on the CD at the time, and at that time, there were no actual addresses. So that was the law that they pretty much basically said, you guys are breaking the law. You know what I mean? And they pretty much dropped everything. The RIAA came to us like, listen guys, like, if you guys would agree to do like a PSA for us. And
the PSA, I do remember this, right?
Which never came out actually, didn't it?
Never.
Yeah, because I remember we did it. We wasn't even really fucking with each other like that.
PSA.
We did it.
Next album.
We met at the studio. The thing was when the director of the RIAA came. he explained to us, like, we had no idea what you guys did.
Right.
It took this intern guy, I forget the dude's name, but he was a young intern, and he had all our CDs. He explained them for hours. He said they sat and told him what we really did, and that's what made the directors kind of shift. But you got to understand there's a gray area between labels and the RIAA, because they're the lawyer system for you know, for a record label, so they couldn't be on our side. But at the same time, they just wanted to make it like, let's just come to a median and do this PSA. And then, you know, I guess they took the PSA and fulfilled what they had to fulfill within the system. But then it was like, you guys are, you know, cool. Once they figured out what it was, I don't know what the intern's name was, but he helped us out.
And the guy who was at the time was in charge of it came from a law enforcement background. So that's how they kind of came at us, you know, in that sense. And, you know, I mean, they didn't even find a joint in the building at the time, and which is, you know, all this shit could have been different if, per se, it might have been another night and we had some smokers in the building, in the building or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But what's so interesting to me is like, you know, if you think about when that shit happened, like, you know, the mixtape game really took a hit for a minute.
Yeah, people
like,
stopped doing mixtapes.
People, you know, sites, you know, went missing, and people fell back and started doing various hustles. And I always remember looking at it like the year, like that year 07, like really being like the year of ringtone rap, you know. And I didn't really feel like a lot of artists per se came from that broke that year. You know what I'm saying? And because a lot of like the biggest artists from the last, you know, decade had really came from mixtapes. I mean, if you look at anybody who's anybody, they have some sort of history with the mixtape game. And then from that, I feel like the Phoenix arose, you know what I'm saying? And here came this new generation of kids and so forth who technically did even necessarily went a different path, even outside of what quote unquote was a mixtape with DJs, and they started, you know, putting these projects together.
Like Drake and
Kendrick and Cole and Big Sean and so forth. And, you know, this next generation came and you know, from what had previously been, and, you know, now here we are today with the new stars.
Plus it changed the whole landscape of mixtapes. Once that went down, everybody was such in shock that it turned into an internet craze instead of hand-to-hand mixtapes. Sell to Canal Street, sell to stores. It turned like the whole landscape went straight to.
Uzi, you never given out your product hand to hand, right? I guess if you press
hell no.
Which
Uzi's like, I got a link for you, man.
Which kind of showed and proved too to me, because, you know, everybody kept saying like, you know, these guys are making all this money, and, you know, you know, the money, and, you know, at the end of the day, here we are again, and it's clear that it was never really about the money. I mean, money may have been good at times, but you know, from those years after the raid, you know, here came the internet, and here came an opportunity where you could go onto your Twitter account or, you know, sites like Rap Radar and a link, and you could, you know, reach enormous amounts of people. I mean, the mixtape game really became bigger than it ever was because of, you know, social media and the outlets and ways for, you know, the project to get into people's hands, instead of having to, you know, order it directly or have to go to these certain spots, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I just remember even from when I did a Chris Brown mixtape, just the reach that it got, and even some of the backlash I may have gotten from some of his fans, like, yo, why the fuck is this guy screaming all over this mixtape? You know, but those type of things, like, I think it through.
Plus it allowed these kids, like, I started looking at it when Puff came.
Do you like when he calls you kids, Uzi?
Yeah.
It's a grown ass man over here.
This nigga's crazy. I'm just letting him.
Like, they don't say that at the bank, right? They say
cool.
Mr. Uzi when you walk in the bank.
When Puff came in the game, he changed the money for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like when our raid happened, that changed the landscape for these up and coming artists to get bigger deals.
But Drama, even though they got empowered, though, you still was able to pick up and put your projects out, bigger singles, My Moment. Like, how were you able to, as a personal brand, able to survive that with the artists empowering themselves and not, in that sense, needing you as much? What was your mentality, and how did you able to build your own personal brand?
Well, I mean, I've always paid attention to branding and how important it was. So, you know, I always wanted to take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I was already in the position of going into album mode, and honestly, for me, like, you know, and for Canada for that aspect, I think that we had created such brands for ourselves that even after that, like, Gangsta Grill still meant something. And you know, there's been high points and low points, and I, you know, like, for example, like Fab's first mixtape, There's No Competition, the first one we did together, you know, I felt got overlooked at the time because
that's that work, right?
Yeah, but it was, you know, it was
like
during
that one, that Fab.
It was during a time when it wasn't, you know, I guess it was a weird space. But, you know, for me, it was about never stopping to work, you know what I'm saying? And I had created, you know, so much history, and, you know, I always lived on the aspect of it's not about what you did yesterday, it's about what you do tomorrow. Right. So it kept me working, and for me, I feel like I work good under pressure, and my back when it is against the wall, it's like, okay, it's really time to show and prove. I mean, you can't be great in this game if you don't face adversity and come out. Like, you know, hip-hop is a competitive sport, you know what I'm saying? And it's like every year, you know, it's no different. It's like, who's going to get the chip? Who's going to get that ring? And, you know what I'm saying? And every year you got to come to ball. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of competitive with the whole Drake Meek thing, your name's been attached to a lot of that. Like, can you clarify what the role was or what your involvement may or may not have been?
I didn't really have any role. My thing more than anything is what we've learned from this whole thing is how powerful social media is. And, like, you know, it's like the Force, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, it can be used for the dark side, or it can be used for the good side. And, you know, like, with respect to those guys, that's not really my story to tell. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, they're gonna have to tell that story, you know, and then they're gonna have to come and, you know, and say what it was. I know one thing though. I definitely am not no leaker of no records. The records that I put out I put out records that people give me blessings to put out.
Not reference tracks.
I gotta lay that to rest. None of that shit was from me.
Yeah. What made you tweet, none of these niggas is your friends, I put my integrity on the line, and for what? Shake my head.
It just,
and then you wrote the Philly curse.
Yeah, just, you know, that was my feeling at the time. I mean, you know, the tweet.
It's all right, Uzi, let it out, baby. Philly curse.
The tweet was what it was. You know, I mean, Philly's it's a tough place. You know what I mean? It's just, and I feel like, you know, a lot of people have had to leave Philly to make it in a lot of ways, you know what I'm saying? And it's a tough city to be from. It's a tough city to be in, and, you know, but that tweet just, you know, I'd have to leave it there, you know, and people can take it how they want to take it.
Philly, the most beautiful place on earth.
But it does get ugly and personal with ex-wife, you know, putting stuff on social media and stuff like that. Like, how do you deal with that aspect?
Oh, that's the past.
Yeah.
I'm just dealing with the future. Yeah, have you seen my woman? Have you ever?
She's a very attractive young lady.
I've never seen her before.
She's.
How did that happen, Drama? Let the people know.
She bagged me, man.
Fucking drama.
She bagged me.
Was she a Playboy model or something?
She was. She was a Playboy model.
You made her retire, Drama? You said that's it?
No, she was already done with that point in her career. She had become a businesswoman. She runs her own company called Sailor and Saint. And if you ask her, it was The Voice. I think she heard The Voice, and she you know. So, but I mean, she's a great woman inside and out, and you know, yes.
So you don't mind that aspect of it, putting the new relationship out through social and sharing those photos and putting things like that out there.
Nah, like I said, I you know,
because sometimes that can maybe stir things up or stir.
Absolutely,
you know,
but you know, for me, like, I think, you know, social media, like, I learned very early on, and I learned when you guys first gave me the opportunity to do a blog on XXL. You were still there at the time. Were you still there, or you were?
Come on, don't ask stupid questions. I gave you the blog, man. Right, yeah, okay. Of course, man.
So Elliot gave me the opportunity to do a blog.
Nah, shout out to like Leah Rose, and it was their idea, but I was like, okay, Drama, yeah, let's do it.
You know, at that time, MySpace was the hot thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And MySpace was like, when you were on MySpace, it was nothing but praise. Like, you know what I'm saying? People just
this new song is even more incredible than your last one.
Paul suck you. They used to just suck you off on MySpace. Like, yo, you're great. Everything is good. Like, yo. And then I did this blog. When I came and did this blog for you guys, I started to, read some of the comments, and I was like, whoa, like, hey, this person feels this way about me, and this.
Did it hurt? Because that was early.
That was early.
Did it hurt?
At the time, because it was my first.
You see what they say to me.
It was my first interaction with that, so I was like, "Yo, this shit is kind of
like nutty."
Like, whoa, people saying crazy stuff.
And you just want to find them in real life. But where you at?
But from that, then that started to introduce me to, like, even before there were what blogs are now, like the underworld of it.
Yeah.
And I started to really like get involved in it and see how it came about. So by the time like where we are now and social media came with Twitter and Instagram, like, I had this conversation with Jessica even, what I'm saying, like, because everybody's not built for that, and it's tough. Like, I can only imagine, like, just the comments, like
people say about B-Dot.
No.
Exactly. Like for instance, like
what they be saying?
Everything.
Say something. Say it.
B-Dot, I hope you get AIDS.
Yeah.
Oh, damn! They ain't never go that. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. They never went that crazy on me.
Nah,
That's
but it's shit's
though.
crazy. I mean, it is what it is, and like if I was to let somebody tell it sometimes by reading my comments, I would really think everybody fucking hated me on the mixtape. Like nobody liked the
Why are you
nothing I've ever
talking?
did.
They hate my laugh. They hate you yelling.
Shut the fuck up, Drum. We don't want to hear you.
Drum,
None
but
of that
you gotta
shit.
understand though, it's mental though, because it'll be 100 people saying they love it, and all you gotta do is see that one person that be like,
But my thing is, at the end of the day, when I walk down the street and I go places, I've never had nobody scream out to me, "Yo, Drum, we don't fuck with you." They always say, "Yo, Drum, I got love for you."
Shit, it could happen.
But it hasn't.
Yeah, it didn't.
And my only point, and if it does, it does. But
that's what I'm saying.
My only point is that, like, people let that get to them, and like, like when I go out here, I get love, and that's what means something to me. So, I don't let those things faze me. And again, like, even I think more than anything, like from this last 9-8 months from the beefs that have happened and everything, like we've really learned just how powerful social media can be. Yeah. And when it can be used for good and when it can be used for bad, and and at no point in time, like for me, that shit, man.
What's your relationship now with like Drake or Meek, or is there a relationship?
When I'm in the club, man, if a nigga got a hot record, I'm playing it.
But on a personal level, like, do you guys? Because I remember
I've been really busy with Lil Uzi. I've been really busy. I've been really busy with Mean Street Studios. I've been really busy with Atlantic Records. I've been really busy with iHeart Media doing a lot of my voice imaging. I've been really busy on the road. I've been really busy with Quality Street Music Volume 2. I've been really busy with Lil Uzi Vert. And I've been really busy with touring and just a lot.
And you got an incredible woman by your side?
Yeah, I've been really busy with this beautiful woman by my side, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cannon, you've been busy too, man. Like, you talked about your production earlier. There's a lot I want to talk about.
He's a big Don Cannon fan, this guy.
He knows that.
Yeah, we talk all the time.
Numbers on the board, man. Like, we voted that, not this year, but last year, like the best beat of the year. Jay-Z's using it. You know, how did that come about? Like,
it was just an idea that I had, and I sent it to Kanye, and I was like, listen, Pusha T needs some help. You know what I mean? And when he got the beat, he was like, damn, this is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like,
you heard Pusha when you made it?
Yeah, because it was that underlying thing. Is like, okay, why is he not transitioning here while we're in the album? We're waiting on this album almost a year and a half, and I felt like he needed the help. And it was something quick that I did. It was just an idea. And when I sent it over, I guess 88 Keys and Kanye kind of went in and, put some touches on it. But then Ye called me and was like, yo, come to Paris. We need to finish his album. This is perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I went to Paris. And,
damn.
They kind of finished. And that's where he was living at the time. So hey, man.
Where's my passport?
damn. So was the beat that you created and what 88 Keys and Kanye did?
88
Damn,
88
so you
Keys.
was there?
Yeah,
I remember that footage of him being out there, and like I remember it was footage of this lady coming up to him, and like she was like, "Who is that?" Like, and they was like, "That's Kanye." You was out there.
Yeah. So I remember when I did the beat, it was just the actual beat of it, and the 88 Keys put the voices on there. You right there? You know what I'm saying? And then Kanye kind of put the Jay-Z part in there because he's so passionate about what he's doing. So he basically was like, "Yo, you the Jay of this new era. You speak it, you live it. You need to." Transition. So he wanted to make that, that relevance of him and Jay somehow.
But they didn't actually touch any of the bass of the beat, though. That's the thing.
Not
wow.
At all.
So what does it mean for you when you hear Jay performing at the B-side show?
Man, I was hyped because you know the thing with me and Jay is like we're the combination that never really happened. You know what I'm saying? So like even with the first beat that I did, through people he called like, yo, Jay wants some beats, or Jay messaged you, until later years when I met him, he was like, yo, you that dude for real, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I start seeing him rap. There's a lot of my beats that he just, kindly picked to, move through stuff. So I know that he's picking them, and Guru ain't really the one saying, yo, you should get on this. It's like he really likes those beats. You know what I'm saying? So, whether we come, there's been a time when me and No ID went to do Blueprint 3 when him and Kanye started doing that. I think they was on a voyage to do all these albums. And I went up to New York and I just gave him some ideas, and I was like, if Jay come through, he definitely gonna be excited about these beats. So why do you and Jeezy work so well together? Like, what is it about that chemistry? I kind of offset. We talked about this like last week. We offset each other. You know what I'm saying? I come from a place where Philly hood mixed with a South sound, and he comes from just South, but he understands that. He's like one of the few rappers that has a cadence that's able to get on any type of beat. There's only a few from the South that I know that can do it, as good as him and T.I. They're the only people that can get on up tempos, slow tempos, EDM, and it all sound authentic. So I think that
maintain that cadence.
So I think that draw together of us being able to work on any type of record is good for him. It's like I started with him, so it's like if I give him a different type of record, he's gonna catch the flow. So like in a secret, we're working on trying to make his new Blueprint Blackout album now. You know what I'm saying? Just me and him, and just adding touches of the great Southern producers like Spins and.
I'm excited because I've been saying that for the longest. Like 17.5 is my favorite Jeezy record because, I mean, it's soulful. Sounds like a gospel record to me.
It's crazy. I made that beat for Jay-Z.
Really?
Yeah. I made that beat for Jay-Z, and he was supposed to give it to him. He said, no, hell no. Hell no.
I can definitely hear Jay on that record, too.
I did two at that time. I did another joint. I don't know if y'all ever heard it. Was Cassidy, It Is What It Is, was the first record that he came out of jail with.
Yeah.
That was Jay's record. And Swiss wound up was like, yo, I was in the studio with Jeezy and Jay-Z. It's this beat. I need it for Cassidy. I'm telling you, Cass about to come out of jail. I just need the breaking. And then I just wound up saying, Swiss, you got it. Swiss actually owed me a favor for that because I never cast
Showtime.
He was supposed to get on like one of Willie the Kid's records or something. I never cashed him. I never cashed him. Yeah,
those are great records, man. My second favorite record is Intro, Grown Ass Man, but I can't listen to it without hearing your fucking drops, Drama.
Yo, there's only one person that has all those tapes without my drops on.
Who?
The cannon. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't have that intro. It's one person out here, MLK.
Really?
I'm putting you on blast, MLK.
Yeah,
he got that.
DJ MLK.
Yeah, he has that one record. I don't have.
It's funny. Shout my man Ice too, because I remember Ice saying, like, Ice used to ask me about certain records, like, yo, I need that without your drop. And I think he heard something one time, and I don't know if it was Trap or Die, and he was like, yo, Drop, I have to apologize to you because I actually went back and I heard the tape without you, and it just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same,
Oh, you talking about Officially Ice?
Yeah, officially. Yeah. So and so I mean,
he's a big Jeezy fan.
That meant something to me because it's people that love what I do, and it's people respectfully that hate what I do. And
what is your approach now? Like, is this the same? Like, do you know what you're gonna say? Like, how do you approach these things?
I mean, it varies from project to project, and I just like, I think like what we did and what I brought to the mixtape game was I took what just used to be kind of like shout outs and people would shout out stores and people, and I really added personality to it, you know what I'm saying? And like, like I always wanted to, I mean myself, I never wanted to just feel like I was just just talking like it would, what the record was about or so forth, or honestly, and again, going back to that, like, like I treat my mixtapes like, artists treat, albums. So if I got something to say, I'm not taking it to Twitter. Like, you can go listen to my mixtapes at any moment in time.
Some sublims there.
Hey, by the way, we was beefing. He was killing me.
and vice versa. but you get any time, like throughout my career, throughout my history, and any issues I've had, I've addressed them in some form or fashion. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that's, when I look at the greats, when I look at the guys that are the top dogs, I feel like they're the ones that they put their personal self into their music, and I treat it the same way in a sense of what I bring to the table as a DJ and everything. But I remember saying on the Jeezy tape not too long ago, like, what else is there for me to say? Like, I done said it all, so I don't, I've learned, I've listened to tapes, I've heard tapes where I may have felt like, okay, I could, I may not have to talk as much or, do as much, and I've brought it back somewhat.
I feel like you did that with the Big Crit out of mixtape.
Absolutely,
that was a really good project.
Yeah, and that's a conversation I have with artists sometimes a lot. Like the Big Crit, thank you, and like for Big Crit or even Trey Songz recently. Like, it's not my job per se to it's my job to understand and to play my role, and that's what I like. I did one of my favorite tapes of all time is Jeremiah Late Nights, which is an R&B tape. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't approach that like I approach a Jeezy tape or a 2 Chainz tape or someone, and I just I try my best to go along with the music and make it make the most sense.
It's funny, I want to add with the Jeezy, it was like you're one of the reasons why we're coming to this album now.
Really?
Because he came to New York, and I think you did an interview with him, and I think you gave him a earful why he's not doing no more Cannon beats.
Right.
And I think he came back the next day like, yo, we should do a whole album together. So I was like, I know who talked to him. I know exactly where this is coming from.
But even Uzi likes your beats, man. That Top record, man. That's a high record, man.
We got a great chemistry too.
What makes you this guy's a good producer, this guy right here?
You know that. Yeah, man, he fire. Like,
I like about your music too. You do the classic hip hop thing with like your opening line, his opening lines, like "Who the fuck are you?" and you have the one about people taking your style. Like, you have that thing where your opening line kind of draws you in, like as an MC, like that Prodigy, "I Got You Stuck Off the Realness." Like, is that important in your song?
Of course, because I'm gonna tell you, when I go in there and make songs, I just go in there and it's usually the first line of my song. Honestly, is usually my hook. So the first line of my song, whatever comes to my brain, is usually the most catchy all the time, though. Like, that's just how it goes.
Have you ever made $1 million with your talent?
Not yet. Not yet, though. Not yet.
I have, brother.
Not yet. I know you have.
Fun, man.
Oh, I be seeing. I be seeing you. You think I don't be seeing you?
You don't follow me on Twitter, my G.
I retweet everything you say about me on Twitter. I see you. I be all on you. I be seeing you.
But I feel like too, Uzi, with your music, I feel like you have a little chip on your shoulder. Is that fair to say? Because it's like,
what make you say that?
Philly, baby.
Well, like even on your Twitter and things like that, you say things like, "You sleep with me now. Don't try to, win with me later."
Yeah, because like they don't. Honestly, nobody wants to let you in. If you get in a person's mind, like, that's less opportunity for them. Like, nobody really, and I don't blame them. Like, once I'm in, of course I'm gonna be the way I'm gonna be. I'm not gonna be all. That's just the way it is. Like, this is a real competition. This is a real job. We all got our own families. Everybody got their own stuff going on.
So what is that transition like now? Getting that attention now, and like
that's what I'm saying.
Feel these levels of fame,
and like it's just it don't be like. I mean, they like the music is good, but the music it grew. But the music always was cool. Like, it always was good. Like,
you feel like you ain't doing much different.
No, I'm not. I just got more resources now and better beats and I got Don Cannon, got like I can really like. It's just crazy that I'll wake up at Cannon crib and be like, "Yo, make a beat, man. Come on, what are you doing?" And he make a beat, like he'll just do it off the like it ain't nothing.
Funny you talking about the chip on the shoulder. What I be looking at is the fact that he's out there, he's seeing people kind of biting his style.
Yeah, a lot.
And he switches so
a lot.
So a lot. He's the first person.
What style, like the people that don't know, what do you think it is that they're taking? If you could break it down, like what are they?
Just the cadence, because I have a crazy cadence. Like this is what makes my music. The feel of it. That's what makes my music cool. Just you can feel the energy and all that, and people. And this energy is energy. Everybody have energy. Yeah. One person don't just have it, but people take just the way I bottle my energy in sound. People will try to take the sound, and it doesn't. I mean, it don't work, but it's annoying. I know you see a lot of Elliott Wilsons out here, man. They try to be just like you, man.
You guys take a lot of shots.
Oh yeah. You think I don't see you because I don't follow you? I gotta watch you. And he take a lot of shots and a lot of selfies. I see him taking a lot of
shots everywhere.
I love it. No, for real though.
Okay. One question I want to know. You talk about Generation Now, the new situation with Uzi.
Right.
Traditionally, artists used to come to DJs like yourself, Cannon, to get on. Now, Uzi, he doesn't really come from that world. He's digital.
Right.
Like, how do you feel like, how's the process of getting on, quote unquote, now different from then in your guys' POV?
I think it's just about it's organic, and I mean, I think artists are in the greatest space that they could ever have been, because you can really, there is no please listen to my demo anymore, or it's not even, hey, I need DJ Drama to technically, to do this tape for the cosign. Like, he's able to create his own lane, his own fan base, by putting up music. And I mean, you guys know from being in the buildings, like, they look at what people are doing on their own in the sense of so forth. So I mean, there's a good the side of it.
Yeah, I was about to say that it's a gift and a curse. Yeah, because like before my time, before really the internet, like you got to really grow with the artist, like for real. So that's how artists back then really got to stay around as long as they stay around and make the money that they posed to. But now it's so saturated. And
it hinders some of the gatekeepers.
Yeah, like just like I could drop a video on the internet and do something, and a person could drop another video. Like it's so much going on at one time. I'm not gonna say it's not bringing it down, but the value. It's all about the value, and that's why I try to stay as rare as possible.
Say, how do you hold the people? How do you hold their attention?
You gotta make them want it. You feel me? Yeah. You gotta really make them want like. Just you already know.
Yeah, like you guys know.
Yeah,
I mean,
just like people want to come up here and talk to Elliott Wilson and don't want to talk to other people.
Yeah.
Like there's steps that we know from the game at times that people had to go through. You know what I'm saying? And technically, they don't have to go through those steps anymore. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying? And the gates are a little more open. You know what I mean, for the accessibility of people to come in.
But isn't that kind of like the curse though? Because
that's the curse part.
Because you need people like yourself to curate.
Absolutely.
Because if everyone's doing it, it makes it too accessible. But who's going to curate?
Yeah, that is the curse, because then it leads it to like, how did this guy get in this space and he didn't really, pay the dues. But for me, being where I am in my life and my career, and like I'm addicted to new shit. So coming up, I never wanted to be that guy that was the back in my day, or you know what I'm saying, like
15 years.
like regardless of how much time I've been here, like you know what I'm saying, like it's it's hip hop. Like hip hop is about what's new, what's hot, what's fresh. You know what I'm saying, and whether or not that means it's a guy that's been here for this long or so forth, but it's really it's fun to watch. Like just even being there last night and watching the energy in the room with the Yams tribute, and you know what I'm saying, and watching Uzi do his thing, and a lot of those young guys
stage,
like
you attacked that stage,
the
man.
energy. I was proud, man. I mean, it felt good. So there is that curse side of it, but the game is gonna play itself out as it always does. You know what I'm saying, and it's gonna choose the roles. Like there's a reason why Cole is where he is, and Kendrick is where he is, and Drake is where he is, and you know what I'm saying, like you still, like the guys that are supposed to be in these spots are going to be in those spots.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah,
it's really not. Like it's
Wiz is another perfect example. You know what I'm saying?
It's really easier than what people think. They just.
And watching somebody like Uzi, I mean, it's exciting for me. You know what I'm saying, to be in this space, and because it's like it's about little Uzi Vert. You know what I mean, and having us here is great for him. But he's his own entity, and it's fun, and I feel like I can kick my feet up and watch him do his thing, and when he needs me, I'm there. But at the same time, like it's not like, oh, that's DJ Drama's man, and you know what I'm saying.
It's not forcing on. A lot of times when we work with people, we were forcing it on the people.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? This
Canon
is just
and drama
you see what I'm
present.
saying?
Yeah.
And this is like natural. And I think that's, some of the artists we had signed before, I think we just pushed it a little too hard on the public to make it, what it was. And it was a canon, drum, respectable thing instead of saying, let him do his thing and stay out the way.
Because it's not fair, because they only gonna fuck with the artist because it's canon and drum.
Love is Rage could have easily been a Gangsta Grills, and at a time it almost was. And when the decision was made for it not to be,
No talking drama.
it was. I was like, my man, I'm with you 100%. However, however you see your vision, I'm rocking with it.
You say you sitting on like 4 more tapes, and man, you ain't stopping,
Music's
man.
incredible.
What's next, Uzi, man? What's next, baby?
I'm in the moment, man.
And we got some
it just
crazy
happens.
records, though.
It just happens.
But you think who else in the new generation do you think that you respect out there besides Thug, like that people should check for besides you? Like,
Oh
we
man,
just doing it the right way.
My youngin' Playboy Cardi. He has a crazy grind. Like I talk to him every day. He's somewhere else different every day, and he won't stop. He don't even sleep. Like he don't. Like Young. Who else?
I like your man verse on the Uzi tape. Ferg. What's his name?
Which one?
Starts with an F, I believe his name. Or is that the last joint?
Oh, which tape?
The first one that you had put out.
On the real Uzi.
Yeah.
And
it's maybe the second to last record. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I had. I tell you, I remember who I had on there. I had Gilly on there.
Yeah.
I had
that real Philly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Shout out to Gilly, man. He's still one of my favorite. He's funny as for real.
That's a real OG.
I had ASAP Ant on there.
Nah, it wasn't him.
Yeah, it was. I had.
It was an unknown guy. He's not too popular.
He's on the tape.
Yeah. I'll get to it. Don't stress
get
yourself
to it, 'cause
over.
I'm gonna remember. I want to remember.
That's the tape with Dumber on it. That was
Yes.
the shit too. I like Dumber. That was my
Yeah.
Dumber.
That's crazy. We got a couple. We had a remix that we just never put out with a couple people on it.
Yeah.
On Dumber?
We might just do it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's dope.
Make sure you get it early.
Your name, where does that come from? Like, I was thinking about that.
I was rapping one day, and like it's simple. Like I was rapping one day, and like some old head was like, "Hey, you rap fast, man, like a machine gun, like a Lil Uzi or something." That's right there.
And Vert is.
Oh, Vert was it was like my first rap name was like Steaktown Vertical, like it was long. It's always crazy. Donnie Brasco, like it's always trash.
What was it before? It was Elliot Wilson.
Yeah.
YN?
No, what was it?
Ooh, that's hard though. YN.
Yellow niggas, man.
Yeah, yellow nigga.
Yeah.
Me and Drum, man, light skin. What's the original DJ name? What'd you have?
Jedi Warrior.
I had a bunch of them.
Jedi Warrior.
I tried to change my DJ name like 5 times. It never worked. Like, I think my first DJ name was DJ Skeff.
That's Pat Antonetti's name. We call him DJ Skeff right there.
and then I had Drama. Then I Drama became my name. Then when I moved to Atlanta, I changed it to Jedi.
What?
And then I changed it back to Drama. Then I tried to change it to Dramatic. Then I tried to use my real name, Tyrese N.K., and it just never, I always felt like the word drama, it would be too hard for people to like. That word was such a common word that nobody would be able to think about.
That's what it's about.
I know
though.
that's what's so crazy.
It gotta make sense.
I used to feel like
Now when you say Drum, you think of you. If you use Drum without the A, I think of you. Somebody said Drum.
Yeah, all the time. Just think of you.
You don't think of the cha-cha?
Oh yeah, that's my man.
Yeah,
he needs a couple of hits.
Yeah, he's cool.
Hits. He's cool.
I wonder if they coming up to him like, "Yo, Drum."
Yeah, of course.
Probably.
You think so?
They call him Drama.
But then it was also a problem when you go to Atlanta. You'd be like DJ Trauma, like Trauma or Drama.
That was a tough time for a minute. Yeah, that was a tough time.
What about that doc that didn't put you in it, man? What was that? Because you're from Philly originally. That was wrong, right? What was that? What was that doc? You was tight about that drama. Come on.
What you talking about?
Yeah,
was that BT? What was that?
No, it was
VH1.
It was VH1.
What you talking about, Elliot?
There was a documentary that VH1 did on Atlanta hip hop. It was well done.
It was
new, right?
It was definitely well done.
I just saw it in the studio. Yeah.
Greatest omission was Drama wasn't it?
Well, there was a couple other people left out too.
But you definitely in Atlanta, like.
I mean, yeah, that was my gripe at the time.
That was mean.
I mean, I think at the time,
Uzi Court says that was.
I was vocal about it because as being part of the culture, like you're still a fan of the culture. So when I'm sitting here and watching this documentary about Atlanta, and I understand it's hard for everything to be in there, but you know, I mean, to be honest, 2 Chainz wasn't even really in there like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, you know, there was a point where they skipped to, you know, Future and, you know, some of the newer guys, and I was like, hold on, how do we not get? And not even to say that, you know, this should have been a part about us necessarily, but nigga, we didn't even get a phone call for the interview. Like, that's what I was like, how do we not even get a call for the interview for this thing? You know what I mean? But it was very well done, and because I enjoyed it so much, that probably was where my gripe came from. Like, how are we not a part of this?
I say fuck the documentary. You know what I'm saying? We're in textbooks, right? You know, when you look, you know, you go to school. I went to Florida A&M, and Plague teaches a class down there. He pulled me aside and showed me one of their textbooks. Like, we have a whole chapter on our case.
Wow.
And that's crazy.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of schools that have that joint. That's like, wow, I'm in a textbook? Wow. That's crazy. So, you know, the documentary is what it is, but, you know, that textbook, it go a long way.
And, I mean, we still have the story to tell. You know what I'm saying? You know,
we do our own documentary.
When it's all said and done, you know, I definitely, we talk about that all the time. People are like, yo, you guys haven't told your story. And I'm like, you know, we're still writing it. Like,
I thought it was going to be a documentary for the Trap or Die anniversary, something around there, like a visual. Because I think I was talking to Infamous, and he was talking about, man, the anniversary's coming up.
Right.
I'll never forget, whatever club it was, he said it was a movie.
It was Visions.
He said, Visions. Man, listen.
Yeah, it was something special. That was a special time, right. You know, and it was a special time, and it's crazy to me now just to think that was, you know, 10 years ago, and like, you know, I mean, like I said, like, you know, I go places and people, you know, whether it was Trap or Die, whether it was Dedication, or whether it was a Pharrell mixtape or a Little Brother mixtape, like, people are like, yo, you know, we came up on your shit. Like, you know, what y'all did was, like, you know, it's one of the reasons we do what we do. And I mean, that in itself is, you know, because that's how I came up, you know, and me watching the guys before me, and, you know, knowing that they were the reason why I did what I did. So, you know.
But now it's Generation Now, baby. Lil Uzi.
Uzi, your man name is Kerr. Excuse me.
Core.
There you go.
That's one of my favorite rappers from Philly. He's hard.
Nice.
Like, he's crazy. Yeah, he can really rap. Like, really rap.
That verse I was really impressed by. That's the one I was thinking.
Shout out Core, man.
My bad, Core.
Get that love.
Man, Core.
Get that Love Is Raised now. That iTunes didn't get it now, right?
Oh, you can get it on iTunes now. It's I ain't gonna get that.
They got down to 12 songs, though, right? Cut it down a little bit, trim the fat out.
Yeah.
Cool. That's moving?
Yeah.
What's the title significance, Love Is Rage, before we go?
Oh, what is it for?
What is the significance of the title?
Well, Lil Uzi Vert.
There you go.
LUV.
Right. He's about to show him.
It's LUV, man. Lil Uzi Vert.
And the album art, I know you're very proud of, too.
Yeah. It was like me and my girlfriend.
Yeah, you pretty much right there. Wifey's with you, man. What's going on? You said it's Sanaa Lathan, right?
She's always with me.
Always.
What's that like, man? Being out here, growing, traveling with your lady friend?
It's cool. I mean, it's new. I don't know. I don't be having no girls. Like, you know, I just be turned up. Like, I don't be having girlfriends.
Girls raised right here.
It comes with the territory.
Don't listen to this old head right here. He's 31. Don't listen to him.
No, you heard me wrong. I said I don't be having no girl, like, as a girlfriend. Like, like, he already know it. I say I'm a rock star, right?
Hey.
Yeah, like,
I'm a blog star, Elliot.
That ain't no joke. But for real though, I be chilling, guys, and just with my wifey.
Oh,
relationship goals.
All right, man. We thank you guys coming through, man. Philadelphia, baby. Lil Uzi Vert, DJ
Francis
Drama,
Bill.
Don Cannon.
Yep. And like that,
We gone.
We gone.
Rap Radar Podcast.
Yeah.